The body may lie still, but energy always moves. And where it moves after intimacy, that's where the truth lives. He won't say it out loud, but his actions after intimacy, they'll whisper the truth he can't fake. You don't need to ask him how he feels. You just need to know how to listen to what his energy says in the quiet. Because, my friends, that's where the mask slips. That's when the real language begins. But before we dive into this, I need you to do something for me. Actually, do it for you. Press that like button. Hit subscribe. Not because it helps the channel, though it really does, and I'm out here pouring my entire soul into this content, but because this is about you, your power, your clarity, your peace. And if you're ready to stop overthinking and start reading the truth beneath the surface, this is your space now. I got you. Stay with me. Hey, ladies, imagine this. You're standing in front of a house at night. You've just lit a fire inside. Warm, bright, flickering. From the outside, it's glowing. But now that the flame is burning, and does he stay by it? Or does he walk away into the dark? And that's the test. It's not what he says during intimacy. It's not the fireworks, the tension, the sweet nothings. It's what he does once the spark settles, once the lights dim, once you're both lying in that stillness where there's no script to follow, just energy exposed and unfiltered. Because here's the lie you've been sold, that you'll know he's into you by how passionate he is in the moment, that if he kisses you long enough, holds you tight enough, it must mean something. But listen closely, lust is loud, but love lingers. And a man who's truly hooked, he won't vanish into silence, he'll lean into it. See, you don't need to chase his words. You need to watch his instincts. Does he check in with you or check out of the connection? Does he reach for you or reach for his phone? Does he hold space or escape it? Carl Jung said the body expresses what the soul cannot say. And when the moment's over and there's nothing left to perform, that's when the soul starts talking. Some men speak with flowers, some with promises, but the man who's emotionally invested, he speaks with presence. He makes sure your body isn't the only thing held. Your being is too. So stop falling for the noise. Start reading the stillness, because stillness reveals. And let's have a little fun here. Some of y'all are spiritual detectives and you don't even know it. You've been picking up on vibes your whole life, doubting it, second-guessing it. No more. From this moment forward, you trust the whisper more than the performance, because it's never been about what he says. It's about what his energy does when the lights go out. Say this with me right now, out loud, wherever you are. I trust what energy reveals. I don't chase clarity, I attract truth. I am the mirror, not the noise. I am the one he can't forget. Type those words in the comments if you felt them. I want you to write them in stone, not just in text. Because that energy, that presence, that is your power. And the moment you claim it, you stop needing to figure out where you stand, because your power makes everything stand still around you. Stay with me, my friends. It's about to get even deeper. Number one, it's not what he says, it's where he stays. A man's presence after intimacy is louder than any "I love you" whispered in the dark. It's not what he says in the heat of the moment. It's where he stays once the heat fades. Because words can be rehearsed, but stillness exposes everything. My friends, any man can talk smooth when your skin is warm and the room is dim. But what does he do when the moment is over and the masks come off? Let me paint you a picture. Imagine you're watching a sunset on a quiet beach, breathtaking, golden, perfect. But once the sun dips below the horizon, most people pack up and leave. They came for the highlight, not for the silence that follows. But the rare ones, they stay. They sit with the twilight. They breathe in the calm. They don't need fireworks to feel wonder. That's the kind of man you're watching for. Because you've been taught to pay attention to what he says when the lights are low. You've been trained to chase signs in the tension, to decode every sigh, every sentence. But the real answer? It comes afterward, when the adrenaline fades and his nervous system returns to baseline. Does he lean into the connection or lean out of it? And I know what's whispering in your mind right now. What if he's just tired? What if I'm overthinking it? What if I ask too much by wanting more? But hear me now. Presence is not about being perfect. It's not about dramatic confessions or some Hollywood script. It's about attention. Software subtle, steady, a glance that lingers, a breath that synchronizes with yours, a hand that stays. You want to know if he's emotionally hooked? Don't look at how tightly he holds you look at how gently he stays afterward. Because a man who only came for the climax will drift. His energy will already be somewhere else, even if his body hasn't moved. But a man who feels you on a deeper level, he'll stay in the quiet like it's sacred. He won't fumble for distractions. He won't need to fill the silence. He'll just be there, still, present, yours. And that's where most women get tripped up, because we're taught to believe love is loud, grand gestures, big words, passion that storms the gates. But let me tell you something real. True connection doesn't scream. It settles. It surrounds. If he's calm but close, if his presence feels like peace and not performance, that's your signal. Let his energy do the talking, because presence, that's the real love language. Not emojis, not sweet nothings, not the playlist he made after your second date. It's how he exists beside you when there's nothing left to perform. So don't ask him how he feels, watch where he stays, because the man who's emotionally invested doesn't exit the moment. He expands in it. And if right now you're realizing the difference between a man who touches your body and a man who touches your soul, then you're already a step ahead of the game. Say it with me and drop it in the comments. I trust presence over promises. I read stillness like scripture. I deserve a love that stays. Type it, own it, anchor it. Because this is how you rise above the guessing, the hoping, the doubting. And stay with me, because up next, we're peeling back another layer, the part of him that can't be hidden behind words or charm. We're diving into the language of the body, what it says when his mouth is silent, and how to tell when his soul is still reaching for you. It's about to get even deeper. Number 2, the body never lies, even when the mouth stays quiet. The body never lies because it's too honest to perform and too primal to pretend. Carl Jung once said, "The body expresses what the soul cannot say." And my friends, that truth hits especially hard after intimacy, because that's the moment when everything gets quiet. The lights are low, the performance is over, and now his body starts speaking the truth his ego won't admit. Watch it closely. Watch his hands. Do they search for you or retreat to themselves? Watch his gaze. Does it drift into distance, or does it still rest on you like you matter even in the stillness? Watch the silence. Does it grow tense or tender? A man who's emotionally connected will soften after intimacy, not disappear. His shoulders will drop, his breath will deepen, his energy won't scatter, it will settle. Because he's not just relieved. It's like being close to you brought him home. Think of a fire. When it's blazing, sure, it's loud, it's alive. That's passion. But passion fades. What matters most? It's not the heat of the flame. It's what's left in the coals. Does the warmth remain, or is everything cold the second the light's gone? This is what most women miss, because we're taught to read lips, not energy, to analyze the words but ignore the body, and yet the body holds all the secrets. A man might say, "I'm just tired," or "that was great," with a smile on his face. But if his chest is tight, if he turns away, if his presence flickers like a dying light, your intuition already knows the answer. He can't fake congruence. His body is the translator of his truth. Now, some of you might be asking, but what if he's just not expressive? Sure, not every man is loud in love, but presence has 1,000 dialects. Sometimes it looks like a quiet hand on your hip. Sometimes it's a slow blink while looking at your face. Sometimes it's not what he does, but what he doesn't rush to do. A man who's connected doesn't need to fill the silence. He feels safe in it. And that right there, that's your cue. So remember this, my friend, words impress, but energy reveals, stillness speaks. And the body? It never forgets what the soul feels. Stay with me, because next we're about to uncover the single question a man asks after intimacy that separates emotional investment from emotional exit. You won't want to miss it. Number 3, does he check in or check out? Real men don't just hold your body, they hold space for your soul. Let that settle in your chest for a second, my friends, because this next part, this is where the mask slips or stays on. After intimacy, when everything is quiet and raw and honest, there's a moment, a small window. And in that window, you'll see it, clear as day. Does he check in or does he check out? It might seem like a tiny thing, a question, a glance, a soft reach, but it's everything. Because the man who is connected, who's emotionally present, who feels something real with you, he doesn't just roll over and close off. He doesn't hit pause on the connection just because the act is over. Instead, he checks in. How are you feeling? Was that okay for you? Do you need anything? Not lines, not obligation, instinct. That's not him being nice. That's not him trying to score points. That's him being in tune with your experience, not just his own. Because intimacy isn't just physical. It's relational. It's energy shared, not just skin touched. And a man who's truly present isn't thinking about what's next on his to-do list. He's still here with you in the moment. And I know what you might be wondering. But what if he's just not the checking in type? What if he's quiet by nature? Let me tell you something. Emotional presence doesn't need a big production. It just needs intention. Checking in might be a whisper, it might be one sentence, but the feeling behind it, that's what matters. It's care, in motion. It's attention, disguised as simplicity. It's him saying, without saying, "You matter to me," even after. And if he doesn't check in, if the moment ends and he disappears emotionally, mentally, spiritually, then my love, he may have touched your body, but he never touched your soul. You deserve someone who doesn't treat intimacy like a finish line, but a doorway. Someone who doesn't go silent the second it's over, but sinks deeper into connection. Because it's not about perfection, and it's about presence. So if you've ever felt unseen in that sacred moment after, if you've ever questioned whether the connection was real, this is your confirmation. Real connection checks in, casual attention checks out. Type it in the comments if you feel it. I deserve connection that checks in. I deserve presence after the passion. I deserve care in motion. And stay with me, because next, we're stepping into the psychology behind this behavior, the way a man's nervous system reacts when he actually feels safe, and how to know when his emotional guard is finally coming down. Let's go deeper. Number 4, intimacy isn't just physical, it's psychological. When a man lays his body beside you, it means he's open, but when he lays down his armor after, that means he trusts you. This is where things get deeper, my friends, because intimacy isn't just physical, it's psychological. And how a man responds in those quiet minutes after tells you everything about the space you hold in his mind, in his nervous system, in his heart. See, the masculine mind is wired for control, protection, forward motion. But after intimacy, when the tension's released and the body quiets down, he hits a fork in the road. He'll either detach or he'll deepen. Some men retreat fast. They feel exposed, vulnerable, and instead of leaning in, they armor back up. You'll feel it immediately. He gets distant. He reaches for his phone, talks about nothing, or just goes silent like nothing just happened. That's not about you. It's about his wiring. Because for him, intimacy opened a door, and now he's scared to walk through it. But the man who feels safe with you, he deepens. His words soften, his voice slows, his nervous system lets go. He starts saying things he didn't plan to share about his childhood, his fears, his dreams, that weird thing about how he can never sleep without one foot out of the blanket. It's not just talk. It's trust leaking out of him, unfiltered, honest, real. You might catch it in the smallest detail. I've never told anyone that before. That's not just small talk. That's a man laying down his armor. Because here's the truth. Any man can be naked with you, but not every man can be emotionally bare. And the ones who can, they don't just want your body, they want your witness. They want to be seen and still chosen. That's the test. You don't need him to pour out a love letter. You just need to pay attention. Does he open or does he close? Does he stay quiet because he feels peace or because he feels pressure? Does the energy settle or does it scatter? A man who starts making future references after intimacy, we should go there sometime, or you'd love this thing I used to do. He's showing you something. Not performance, not game, but placement. He's placing you into the narrative of his life, even if it's subtle, even if he doesn't say it loud. And that's depth. So hear me clearly. The way he shares after, that's how you know he's safe. And when he feels safe, he doesn't pull away. He leans in. Say it with me and type it in the comments. I deserve a love that deepens. I hold space, not pressure. Let him feel safe or let him go. Stay with me. Because next, we're going to talk about what happens after the moment passes. Not just the night of, but the day after. Because a man who's truly hooked, he doesn't just stay in your bed, he echoes in your world. Number 5, the echo test. Does he reach out tomorrow? Anyone can share a moment, but only the emotionally invested look to build something after the moment's passed. That's what I call the echo test, my friends. Because the truth is, almost anyone can create connection in the heat of the moment. Under soft lighting, wrapped in warmth, adrenaline high, it's easy to feel close, it's easy to say the right things, but when the sun rises, when the room cools, when the magic fades into routine, that's when you find out who was really there and who was just visiting. Here's the question every woman with self-respect needs to ask herself the morning after. Did he echo? Because a man who's hooked, who's truly feeling something real, won't just ghost into the next task, the next message, the next distraction. He'll follow up, he'll check in, he'll initiate. And no, it won't always look like some over-the-top confession or poem. Sometimes it's as simple as, hey, how are you feeling today? Still thinking about last night. I hope you're resting up. You looked so peaceful. Simple? Maybe. But don't confuse simple with meaningless, because echo energy isn't about grand gestures. It's about continuity. And continuity is where emotional investment lives. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but what if he's just busy? What if he's not good at texting? What if I'm expecting too much? No, queen, you're not asking for too much, and you're just no longer willing to accept breadcrumbs in exchange for presents. Because here's the thing, chemistry is easy. Chemistry can be instant, electric, intense, but consistency, that's intentional. That's what happens when a man's not just caught up in a moment, but wants to build something beyond it. An emotionally mature man won't leave you in silence after intimacy. He doesn't want to leave you wondering. He values clarity, not confusion. He knows the connection was real, and he wants to echo that feeling into your day, because you weren't just a moment to him, you were a mark. So next time, forget the butterflies. Watch for the echo. Say it out loud and type it in the comments. I don't chase chemistry, I watch for consistency. If there's no echo, there's no anchor. Presence isn't proven in the moment, it's proven after. And stay with me, because next we're getting into something even deeper. We're talking about what pulls him back to you again and again, not through pressure, not through need, but through energy. Magnetic, grounded, rare. Let's keep going. Number 6, it's not about needing you, it's about being drawn to you. When you become his piece, not his performance, that's when you know he's in deep. Let that breathe for a second, my friends. Because this right here, this is the shift that separates temporary attraction from lasting impact. A man who's truly hooked, he doesn't stay because he needs you. He stays because something about your presence pulls him in over and over again. Not out of obligation, not out of routine, but out of something deeper, drawn. You don't have to chase that kind of connection. You become it. See, most women are taught to captivate through doing. Say this, wear that, be fun, be cool, be everything except still. But the kind of woman who draws a man in long after the moment's passed, she doesn't rush to perform. She lets him settle into her. And that changes everything. Because when a man is with someone he's just lusting after, his body may be present, but his nervous system is on edge, fast, reactive, a little distant. But when he's with a woman who brings him peace, he softens, his voice slows, his eyes linger, his breathing deepens. He talks differently, touches differently. There's no rush to escape, no urge to disconnect. You'll feel it in the space between words, in the silence that doesn't feel awkward, in the comfort of just being beside each other with nothing to prove. And that's when you know. Because a man might enjoy many, but he returns to peace, Always. So no, you don't need to be the most exciting woman in the room. You need to be the most grounded, the one whose energy doesn't spike with anxiety or strategy, but flows with confidence and calm. The one who doesn't try to impress, she just knows how to be present. That's the woman who stays on his mind, not because she demanded his attention, but because her energy made him feel something rare. So repeat this with me and write it in the comments like you're claiming your power back. I am the calm he didn't know he craved. I am not a performance, I am peace. Let him be drawn, I will not chase. Stay with me, because next we're stepping into what happens when a man starts to protect what he feels with you, not with promises, not with big words, but through actions that reveal he's no longer just interested, he's invested. Number 7, watch what he protects. When a man starts guarding your heart like it's his own, that's not lust, that's legacy. There's a moment, subtle, quiet, almost invisible to the untrained eye, when a man shifts from interest to investment. It's not always loud, it's not always verbal, but you'll feel it in the way he starts to protect what he feels with you. Not protect like jealousy, not control. I'm talking about careful stewardship of the space between you, a slowing down, a softening, a sense that he's not just showing up for pleasure, he's showing up with presence. He'll start to move differently. He won't handle your feelings like they're fragile, but like they matter. He won't treat your body like it's a reward. He'll treat it like it's sacred. Not because you made demands, not because you gave ultimatums, but because something in him knows. This isn't casual. You see, lust wants to enjoy the moment, but love, real, quiet, soul-stirring love wants to protect it. Protect the connection, protect your safety, protect how you feel when you're around him. And no, he might not say it, he might not label it, he might still be figuring out what this thing is between you. But his energy will already know. You'll feel it when he asks if something felt good, not because he's fishing for compliments, but because he genuinely wants you to feel seen. You'll notice it in the way he slows down, checks in, adjusts, not to impress, but to respect. It's in the details, the follow-through, the softness wrapped in quiet strength. Because a man who's emotionally invested doesn't just want to experience you. He wants to honor the experience with you. He starts to protect the bond, even if he hasn't said the word relationship, because you've become more than a moment. You've become meaning. So don't underestimate the signs. When he listens more closely, when he remembers what made you anxious last week, when he touches you like you're more than skin, that's not performance. That's legacy-level energy. Say this with me and stamp it into your soul, then type it in the comments to claim it. I attract connection that honors me. I deserve care that's unspoken but undeniable. Protect the bond or don't touch it at all. And stay with me, because next we're getting into how his silence, his stillness, his vibe, when nothing is being said, that is the final reveal, because before the words comes the frequency. Number 8, you don't need to ask where you stand. His energy already told you. You don't need to ask where you stand. His energy already told you. Because the truth, my friends, it never shows up in words first. It shows up in energy, in presence, in the quiet spaces most people overlook while chasing signs in all the wrong places. You don't need to chase confirmation. Not when your body already felt the answer in his silence. Not when his nervous system already gave you the signal your mind's been begging to decode. You don't need to ask, what are we? Because if you're still wondering after being that close, then something's missing. And if it's not clarity, it's connection. Stop reading his status. Start reading his stillness. Does he sit in the space with you after intimacy? Does he breathe like he's finally home, not like he's looking for the exit? That's your answer. And stop analyzing his anxiety. Start watching his actions. Does he follow up, follow through? Does he linger? Not because he's stuck, but because he wants to be near your frequency again? A man who's emotionally present doesn't need a label to act with intention. He doesn't need to call it love to move like it is. You'll see it in the way he checks in, the way he adjusts the pillow under your head, the way he holds you in the stillness, not like he's marking territory, but like he's protecting something sacred. You don't need to beg for clarity from a man whose energy already gave you the truth. You just need to stop doubting what your intuition's been screaming all along. So here's the final truth. If he stays connected after the fire, If he checks in, follows through, and speaks in soft certainties, then baby, you don't have to ask if he's hooked. You already know. Let that sit with you. Let it echo in your bones. And if this lit something up inside you, something that says, I'm done ignoring the signs, then write this in the comments like you're anchoring your standard into stone. I trust what energy reveals. No more guessing. I read the truth. I attract love that speaks in stillness. Press that like button if this spoke to your soul. Subscribe if you're ready for more wisdom that isn't watered down, because this space, it's for the women who don't want shallow love, and it's for the women who are ready to be remembered, not just for how they looked in the moment, but for how their presence felt long after it ended. Now, stay glowing, stay grounded, and I'll see you in the next one.